Remarkably, it's more than a quarter of a century since Father Ted was first screened. It hasn't dated, it never gets old. Can you remember who coined the catchphrase, "You're not the boss of me"? Well, that was Father Damien Lennon, better known as Father Damo. Now, the actor in that role was Joe Rooney, who has had a diverse career. I'm delighted he joins me as our guest to talk about his new one-man show. It's a celebration of Father Ted with Joe Rooney. It's already had rave reviews when it was staged in the regional theatres of the UK. Now you have a chance to catch the show in London and the southeast of England this April. Now, dates and venues are the 6th of April at the Kino in Bermondsey, the Kino Ryan East Sussex on the 7th. It then moves on to the Canal Cafe Theatre in London on both Friday the 8th and Saturday the 9th. And then on the 10th of April, it's at the Kino Hawkhurst in Kent, and closes on Tuesday, 12th of April at the Queen's Theatre in Hornchurch. I'll give out those details again at the end of my chat with Joe, but you can also view dates and venues on our website, irishradio.org, or book directly with the theatres. Let's meet the man himself. Joe, lovely to speak to you.
Hi Jerry, how's the crack, all right?
Not too bad at all, Joe, not too bad at all. Now Joe, more about Father Ted in a moment. It was a great springboard, but you've gone on to do so much more. You're an actor, comedian, a singer-songwriter, but our audience would like you to take us back to kind of where it all began. Where did you grow up in Ireland, or what drew you into show business?
I actually was born over in Galway, over in Tuam, and then I grew up in Meath. My father was a farmer, moved all the way over, and moved to Dublin after school, and I was in a band for a while, and then I just got hanging out with a guy who was really into comedy, and just started doing a double act, and then sent some videos into RTE, and we got a bit of work on a programme called Nighthawks that Shay Healy used to host, and it kind of went from there. I did a kids show on RTE for a while, and then ended up doing Father Ted, and that was quite it really lifted my career then,
Indeed, I bet. Now, all episodes of Father Ted are familiar to so many, but I was surprised on reading your biography that you only actually appeared in one episode. You certainly made an impact. Why is the wayward Father Damo so unforgettable, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's unbelievable. I did 5 seasons of Killing a Scully and 1 episode of Father Ted, and it's still that episode that people will remember me for. But I suppose it's like a very kind of every character that came into Father Ted, even if they were in for 1 episode, were really well written, like Father Stone and Owen McLove and Pat Mustard. You remember them, and it's a tribute to the writing that they brought in characters, not just to prop up the other characters, the mainstay characters, but they were actually funny in and of themselves. So it was brilliant. I love Father Damo. He's a real blade, dub. The fact that he's just a bit of a kid, talks like that, but the fact that he's a priest just makes it funny.
Yes, indeed, unforgettable. Now, staying with the TV, you appeared in and wrote scripts for a comedy drama which aired on RTE, set in a rural Irish village. Now, our listeners who are backwards and forwards to Ireland will be familiar with this, but you tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, Killing the Scully was really Pat Short's vehicle for him, and he played 5 characters in it. And I played Timmy, who sat at the bar. There were 3 fellas who sat at the bar. There was Dan, Timmy, and Jimmy, and they were kind of the fulcrum of the show. It was a comedy show set mostly around this little town called Killing a Scully. And we shot it in a town called Kill O Scully down in Tipperary. And it ran for 5 years every year, and it always had a Christmas special and huge audiences. Like, we were one of the highest shows. Like, we were out doing the Late Late Show, which would be hard to do, on a Sunday evening. Kind of a family comedy, and then it was rerun again during lockdown because it was a nice little earner. I got a little extra bit of bonus check there when they relaunched the whole thing on lockdown, and it's still as popular as ever.
I'd well believe it. Now, you currently work with the Father Ted co-star Ardal O'Hanlon, I believe.
Well, I've been doing a podcast actually called Talking Ted, and we've just did a couple of interviews with Ardal there. So it's a podcast where we me and Patrick McDonald, I should say, Owen McLuff, we watch each episode and talk about it as we're watching it, and then interview people like Arthur Matthews, who wrote it. I have an old interview that I did years ago with Frank Kelly, so we edited that for the show. And Pat Short, John Kenny, anybody who turns up in a particular episode, we'll interview them. We interviewed Mary of John and Mary fame, and she actually, the actress, died since we interviewed her. But it's just now Talking Ted, and it's on everything like Spotify or you can get it online anyway, and it's proven very popular.
Right, excellent. Well, believe it. Now, some stars, when they diversify, are somewhat dismissive of roles which brought them to prominence earlier on. That's certainly not the case with you. Obviously, since you're planning a night for Father Ted, your show entitled "A Celebration of Father Ted" with Joe Rooney.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I was asked to do this from a theatre in Wigan. Now, there was a theatre in Wigan and one in Halifax, and the guy who was running them had this idea that I'd show the episode that I'm in, do a Q&A, and then in the second half do stand-up, and I've kind of added interaction with the audience that's related to Father Ted. So I'd have a lovely girls competition, I'd have reenact the over-70s football match, I'd have some blow-up Zimmer frames and a football, and so the whole night is Father Ted themed. At the same time I do a lot of comedy, and a lot of my comedy is musical as well. So, and we end up singing My Lovely Horse as well. So I bring the guitar out and we sing My Lovely Horse as well. So it's good crack. It's great crack. But it's gone really well. I did it in Stockport, then Bristol the last time I was over, and during the summer we're going to Hever Castle, I think it's called, and Brighton as well. And then back in the autumn we're in Darlington and Mansfield and Blackpool, all over the country. So it's going well, yeah.
Great, that's brilliant. Now, no doubt, Joe, this will appeal to die-hard Father Ted fans, but it'll also appeal to everyone, as it's it's got a contemporary feel as well. That as you mentioned, reading about the content, the Lovely Girls competition isn't just confined to girls these days, and quite rightly too.
Of course, no, it's boys and girls. Yeah, that's right, Chad.
Why not?
As long as you can make a lovely sandwich, that's the main thing,
Great.
And you have a lovely laugh.
Excellent. So it's a one-man show, but you get into character with hilarious output. To quote Ardal O'Hanlon, choice gags, a natural storyteller with a guitar in your hands. He says Joe delights the room with his ineffectually manic delivery. It's fast-paced, and you get the audience immersed in a question and answer session, competitions, and they get to join in, as you mentioned there. Now, we've all been housebound for long periods of time over this past couple of years. You must have been delighted to be out there interacting with audiences again, Joe.
Yeah, it's really good. I feel that the audiences are very appreciative, and the performers are appreciative of audience as well. That you realise that watching comedy on TV is okay, but it's not the same as a live event, and it's really good. And I always hang out in the foyer afterwards and do a lot of selfies and have chats with people, and it's really great, to meet up with people and have a chat. And a lot of people have fond memories of they kind of link Father Ted to memories of the 90s or the early 2000s as well, and sometimes people who've passed on as well, so it's really nice to mix and hear those stories from people afterwards as well,
That's excellent. No, it sort of gives a little bit of an insight behind the scenes of Craggy Island. It all sounds absolutely unmissable. Now, you can catch the shows at any one of the 5 venues between the 6th and the 12th of April. All details can be found on the banner on our website, irishradio.org. Joe, listen, have a blast here in London on the South East. It sounds like an original, highly entertaining show. Well done on all your success. It's been great to chat.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jerry. Thanks for having me on as well. It was really nice to have a chat with you.
A real pleasure. Listen, I hope you could join me. Hope you could join me again on a future show.
Oh yeah, sure. I'd love to drop into the studio sometime as well. So I'd love to see some Irish people at the shows as well, so we can have a chat about the old times afterwards. You know what I mean?